Hello, and welcome to Mendon High School's Program of Studies update. I am Melissa Julian, the principal of Pittsford Mendon High School. Joining me a little later in this presentation is Eric Damros, our counseling department leader. The two of us will work together to provide an overview of the course selection process, including a timeline and where to go for additional information. Thank you in advance for joining us, and please note, at any time you can reach out to your student's current counselor who will help answer any questions you may have throughout the process. Our objective for this presentation is to ensure that you have the information you need to assist your Viking in choosing courses that make the best sense for them for the upcoming school year. Whether your student is an incoming 8th grader or currently attending Mendon, we hope that you gather the information you need from either this presentation or the information available on our website. I like to remind families that this should be an individual process designed so that each Viking will be as successful as possible in their future years. Not every student will have the same schedule, and that is okay, because it is based on your child's individual goals and needs. Next year's schedule is based on all of your requests, Vikings, as it always is. Based on your input, we decide if a class will run and how many sections of that class we will have. We like to take time up front and work individually with each student to ensure that we understand what you want to accomplish during your time with us and what may be a good fit based on your interest, your goals, academics, and your needs. Therefore, it's important to know that making changes later in the process could mean that an individual may not get a course that they want. For example, if not enough students sign up, we may not run a particular course. Making changes later could also mean that there is more room for errors in your individual schedules. Our Program of Studies guide can be found on our website. This invaluable resource is a great place to start when looking at what you may want to take during your time with us. It lays out all of the courses, both core and electives, that are potentially offered to our students. One thing to note is that some courses indicate as to only being offered at either Mendon or Sutherland. The differences are mainly due to facilities and students' interests over time. For example, Mendon has the garage to be able to offer automotive courses, whereas Sutherland does not. We encourage all of our students to start this process by taking a look at the Program of Studies guide even before meeting with your counselor. Our scheduling process is well underway at both Mendon High School and Barker Road Middle School. This presentation is one piece of that puzzle. Currently, teachers are making course recommendations for next year in Infinite Campus. Students will have an opportunity to learn more about potential elective courses during the elective presentations, and also using this website. Our current Mendon students will meet with their counselors. This is always done on an individual basis to allow for that counselor to work one-on-one with the student. As we have done in the past, counselors will work with our English teachers to set up meeting dates and times. Using Infinite Campus, students are able to enter their own elective choices in late January through early February. We have done this in the past here at Mendon. This can be done with their counselor, individually, or with their family members. In late February or early March, a family verification letter will be sent home. When verification letters go home, that's your time to contact your student's counselor if you have questions or wish for changes. Then in May, the counselors will again meet with students who may have a scheduling conflict. This could be 2 courses potentially running at the same time, where students will need to choose which course they'd rather take. For our current 8th graders who will be joining us next fall, teachers at Barker Road will be completing their core course recommendations. They will be available to see on the student's Infinite Campus account in early February. After reviewing those recommendations, if you have questions regarding the choices and levels, please reach out to the teacher and your student's current counselor at Barker Road. The high school counselors met with 8th graders from the end of January through the beginning of February to help the students finalize their elective choices for next year. This was also done in Infinite Campus and allows you to see the elective courses as well. Similar to the high school timeline, families will receive a verification letter in late February or early March. That is the time to work with your student's current counselor to catch any errors or mistakes and make a change. If you have a request for a level change, you must go through the Barker Road prerequisite challenge process. This again starts with the Barker Road counselors who will walk you through that process. Some courses have prerequisites which you can find in the program of studies or by talking to the counselor. Some of these may include a previous class needed or teacher recommendation. Teachers provide recommendations for students to help them think about next year's courses and options. If your student doesn't agree with a teacher's recommendation, please talk directly to the teacher, as they have worked with your Viking for half of the year at this point and can provide additional information as to what they've seen over time. One of the greatest assets of attending Mendon High School is the number of course offerings that we are able to provide for our students. We have a vast array of courses that allow students to try new and different things, and we encourage all of you to think about your program in the 4-year perspective. You will be here for 4 years. We would like you to think about quality over quantity. It's okay to take a study hall if you plan to take several robust courses in 1 year. In addition, each student at Mendon High School should plan on having a lunch. This much needed downtime is essential to keep your brain fully functioning as you refuel your system. Our program contains a robust variety of AP courses. Think about what is appropriate for you and your individual student. These courses are academically challenging, but also require quite a bit of time. The online AP profile will provide information about the courses and also share the time commitment for each one. For example, AP US History can require 10 to 12 hours a week outside of the traditional classroom. We encourage you to think about how many AP courses you should take in order to keep a balance. We might suggest 3 to 4, maybe too many for some students. If you are really interested in history, take AP US History, but you don't have to also take AP Biology, Calculus, or English as well. We love it when students challenge themselves, and we would encourage each of you to do the same, but not at the sake of your own mental health and stress level. Talk to your counselors and families about what might be a great balance for you, keeping in mind all of the other commitments and responsibilities. Finally, we also offer community service credit, which is available to our students. You can find this information on our homepage under the community service link. Hours accumulated from 6th grade on can count. However, for National Honor Society, you will need 30 hours logged during grades 9 through 12. At this point in the year, students have heard or will hear from the various elective areas regarding a variety of courses that we offer. Every year, I challenge each of our Vikings to try something different, to step outside their comfort zone. It may be the best thing you do while you're with us. You have the luxury to try new and interesting courses every year if you would like. Just because you don't get a class during your freshman year doesn't mean you can't then take it during 10th, 11th, or 12th grade. In addition, you may want to be a doctor someday, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't take a pottery class. You may be the world's greatest brain surgeon, but you may choose to paint on the weekends, or you may choose to make a clay pot. You could also choose to become an accountant, but then someday you might want to work on your own car. All of these things you can learn here at our school. We have several pathways to many colleges and careers, and we encourage all of you to find something you're really interested in while you're here. In the program of studies, you will find a chart to refer to that walks you through the elective courses that rotate every other year. Take a look at it and use that while planning for your future with us.
Hi, my name is Eric Domrose, and welcome to Mendon High School. I am the Counseling Office Department Leader, and I would like to take the time to discuss our counselor role, graduation requirements, and what a 9th grade schedule may look like. Each student will have a counselor for 4 years, where we will have the opportunity to know them over this 4-year period. If you are a new parent to the high school experience, know that you are not alone. In addition to assisting your child with career ideals, navigating the social and emotional aspects of high school, college planning, we will be the one to help with this yearly and overall academic plan throughout your student's high school experience. Over these next 2 slides, you will see the outline of basic graduation requirements. This is just an awareness piece. As parents or as guardians, you do not have to completely know and understand these requirements to assist your student with their 9th grade schedule. The scheduling process we have in place will take care of setting your child up properly to meet their graduation requirements. However, these are nice to know when thinking about their overall high school trajectory. For a detailed look at specific graduation requirements for current or unique circumstances, please look at the Program of Studies book that is found online. As you take a look at this screen, credits by course needed for graduation are outlined over the next 2 slides. A great majority of our students go well beyond their course requirements for graduation throughout high school. Regents exams are needed to graduate, and depending upon what course levels in math and science that your student will end up taking will determine their diploma type. All diploma types are New York State certified as a high school graduate. As we continue through the graduation requirements slide from the previous and current slide, you will also see core course requirements needed for graduation. 1 unit is considered a full year course. For instance, English you need 4 units. Social studies you will need 4 units throughout high school. Science you need a minimum of 3 units. Math you will need a minimum of 3 units. And for both of those, students that are seeking to go on to college beyond high school, we encourage them to have more than 3. But 3 is the minimum requirement for both science and math. Most students will have a language other than English requirement of 1 or 3 units, depending upon what type of diploma they may qualify for. All students will need to have phys ed throughout their time in high school. And the fine art requirement is usually done their freshman year. Fine art requirement is a full year course that can be done in either studio art, design, drawing for production, a performance-based music like choir, band, or orchestra. Some students with disabilities who are not able to meet all of the Regents testing requirements may be eligible to be a New York State high school graduate with a Mendon High School local diploma designation. There are many Regents exam paths for this option, and know that the determination for this diploma type is not made at the start of high school, but it may be an outcome given the Regents testing performance of a student. Here is a sample student schedule. Mendon High School has a 9-period day. Sometimes we use 10th period just 1 day a week to fit in a lab, but for most 9th graders, they will have a lab during the day. Phys ed is often opposite that lab, and the days they don't have lab or phys ed, they will have a study hall. We do recommend that 9th graders take their fine art requirement. Again, a fine art requirement could be DDP, studio art, concert band, polychorus, or chamber orchestra, as these courses are foundations courses and will serve as a prerequisite for higher level courses in a particular department where your student may want to study further. Please note that lunch is a requirement for all 9th graders. When you consider the core courses, fine art requirement, lunch for all students, and a period every other day for phys ed, there is only one more period to add an elective. Please know that not all students fill that extra time period with an elective, as it is not needed to ensure graduation requirements. A free period will become a study hall to organize work, meet with a teacher, or complete homework. Parents and guardians are the experts on your child to know if a study hall is something that will most help your child transition to the rigors of high school. This last point involves using an elective sequence to override the 3-unit sequence in a language for the Regents with advanced designation diploma type. For some students that are weak in the world language area and are otherwise strong in their Regents exams, it is possible to use a 5-unit sequence in art, business, tech, or music to overcome having to have 3 credits of a world language to meet their Advanced Regents diploma. To use this option, a student will minimally need at least 1 unit of a world language. Then they would need to complete a 5-unit sequence in business, art, technology, or music to replace the 3-unit world language requirement. While this option is available and within reason for some students, the recommendation for the majority of our students is to complete the 3-unit sequence of a world language if possible. I thank you for listening to my presentation, and we look forward in the counseling office to knowing and connecting with our future freshman Vikings.
On the Program of Studies website, we have included both frequently asked questions and contact information for each of our departments in the high school. The frequently asked questions are those that the department leaders, counselors, and administrators hear regularly, especially during this time of year. We encourage you to take a look at those if you are looking for additional information. We have also provided contact information for each of our department leaders. These individuals will be able to help you answer sequencing questions or questions regarding specific courses. However, if you have a question about your specific student and the best fit, please speak to your child's current counselor or current teacher. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your support and partnership as we help our Vikings navigate this journey. We look forward to helping them with their long-term success, no matter where they go after their 4 years with us.